Have you noticed how political influence can seem unshakable one moment, then suddenly begin to face serious questions the next? That's exactly what many people have been asking after recent developments in Rivers State involving George Kelly, Ojukaye Flag-Amachree, and the growing debate over whether Minister Nyesom Wike is gradually losing his grip on the state's political structure. While opinions remain divided, the events unfolding have sparked intense conversations across Nigeria, with many wondering if Rivers politics is entering an entirely new chapter. Politics in Rivers State has never been ordinary. Every appointment, every court decision, every political alliance, and every public statement is often viewed as part of a much bigger picture. That is why the latest developments have attracted attention not only within Rivers State, but across the country. The names involved are familiar to followers of Nigerian politics, and the implications could stretch far beyond today's headlines. Before we continue, if you enjoy balanced and fact-based political analysis like this, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share this video with others who follow Nigerian politics. Your support helps us continue bringing carefully researched updates without unnecessary sensationalism. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments because your perspective is always part of the conversation. To understand why people are asking whether Wike is losing influence, we first need to understand the people at the center of this discussion. For years, Nyesom Wike has been widely regarded as one of the most influential political figures in Rivers State. Even after leaving office as governor and becoming the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, many analysts believed he continued to command enormous influence over political activities back home. His loyal supporters argued that his political structure remained solid, while critics insisted that maintaining such control after leaving office would eventually become difficult. Recent events have now given fresh fuel to that debate. One of the names making headlines is George Kelly. Many Nigerians remember George Kelly because of his previous involvement in legal and political controversies that received nationwide attention years ago. Over time, his name gradually disappeared from daily political discussions, but recent reports have brought him back into public focus. Alongside George Kelly is Ojukaye Flag-Amachree, another familiar figure in Rivers politics. Ojukaye has served in several political capacities over the years and has remained a recognizable personality within the state's political landscape. His recent political moves have generated renewed attention because observers believe they may reflect shifting alliances within Rivers State. So why are these two names suddenly being discussed together? According to reports circulating in the political space, recent developments involving George Kelly and Ojukaye Flag-Amachree have been interpreted by some observers as signals that certain political actors are beginning to reposition themselves. While it is still too early to draw firm conclusions, these developments have encouraged many analysts to ask whether old alliances are changing. Politics often operates through relationships rather than public announcements. Sometimes, the biggest changes happen quietly before they become obvious to everyone else. Political observers therefore spend a great deal of time watching who attends meetings, who appears together publicly, who receives appointments, and who begins speaking differently from before. That is why even relatively small political developments can trigger nationwide discussion. Many political commentators believe Rivers State is currently experiencing one of its most competitive political periods in recent years. Different camps appear determined to strengthen their positions ahead of future political contests, making every move seem more significant than it might otherwise appear. Some analysts argue that what we are seeing is simply normal political realignment. Politicians frequently adjust alliances as circumstances change. Loyalty in politics is often influenced by new opportunities, changing priorities, and evolving political realities. Others, however, see something much deeper. They believe the developments involving George Kelly and Ojukaye Flag-Amachree could indicate that some individuals previously associated with one political bloc are becoming more independent in their decisions. Whether that interpretation is accurate remains open to debate, but it has certainly become one of the dominant talking points among political observers. It is also important to understand that influence in politics is rarely measured by a single event. A powerful politician may experience temporary setbacks without losing overall influence. At the same time, small changes that appear insignificant today can eventually lead to major political shifts months or even years later. That is why experienced analysts usually avoid making quick conclusions. Instead, they examine patterns. Is support increasing or decreasing? Are long-time allies remaining united? Are new political figures emerging? Are influential stakeholders changing their public positions? These are the kinds of questions analysts ask before declaring that any political leader is gaining or losing influence. In Rivers State, those questions have become increasingly relevant. The political atmosphere has remained tense following disagreements between different camps within the state's leadership. Since Governor Siminalayi Fubara assumed office, Rivers politics has witnessed several periods of uncertainty marked by political disagreements, legal disputes, and institutional challenges. These developments have often dominated national conversations because Rivers remains one of Nigeria's most politically and economically significant states. Every new event is therefore viewed through that larger political context. Supporters of Wike maintain that he still possesses an extensive political network built over many years. They argue that one or two developments cannot erase years of political organization, loyal supporters, and established relationships. On the other hand, critics argue that political influence naturally changes over time. According to them, every political structure eventually faces new pressures, especially when new leaders begin exercising authority and building their own support base. This difference in interpretation explains why reactions to the George Kelly and Ojukaye Flag-Amachree developments have varied so widely. Some describe them as isolated political events. Others describe them as early warning signs of broader political transformation. The truth is that only time will reveal which interpretation proves more accurate. Political observers are also paying close attention to public reactions across Rivers State. Conversations on radio programs, television discussions, community meetings, and social media suggest that many residents are carefully following every new development. Interestingly, the discussion is no longer focused solely on personalities. Many Rivers residents are increasingly asking broader questions. What direction is the state taking politically? Will cooperation eventually replace confrontation? Can different political groups find common ground? Or will rivalry continue dominating political discussions? These questions matter because political stability often affects governance, investment, and public confidence. Businesses generally prefer stable political environments. Investors pay attention to political certainty. Citizens usually want leaders to focus on infrastructure, education, healthcare, employment, and security rather than prolonged political disagreements. That is why every major political development naturally attracts widespread attention. Another important factor is perception. Sometimes perception can become almost as influential as reality itself. If enough people begin believing that a political leader's influence is declining, that perception alone may affect future political calculations, regardless of whether the underlying reality has actually changed. Likewise, if supporters remain confident and united, that confidence itself can strengthen a political structure. Politics, therefore, involves both actual power and perceived power. That balance often determines how future alliances develop. Looking specifically at George Kelly, some observers believe his renewed visibility reflects broader political repositioning. Others caution against reading too much into individual events without stronger evidence. The same applies to Ojukaye Flag-Amachree. His recent political relevance has prompted different interpretations, but no single development alone can fully explain the direction Rivers politics will ultimately take. As events continue unfolding, Nigerians should expect more public statements, more political meetings, and probably more speculation from different sides. That is normal during periods of political transition. The important thing is separating verified information from rumors. Political discussions can become emotional very quickly, especially on social media, where unverified claims often spread faster than confirmed facts. That makes careful analysis more important than ever. Rather than accepting every viral claim immediately, it is always helpful to compare information from multiple credible sources and wait for official clarification where necessary. Doing so allows citizens to form balanced opinions based on facts rather than assumptions. For now, what can reasonably be said is that Rivers State remains one of Nigeria's most closely watched political arenas. The conversations surrounding George Kelly and Ojukaye Flag-Amachree have undoubtedly added another layer to an already complex political environment. Whether these developments ultimately signal a weakening of Wike's influence or simply represent another phase of ordinary political competition remains uncertain. One thing is clear though, the coming months are likely to provide much clearer answers as political events continue to unfold and alliances become more visible. And that's why many Nigerians will be watching Rivers State very closely. If you found this analysis useful so far, don't forget to like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe for more balanced updates on Nigerian politics and share this video with friends and family who enjoy staying informed. Most importantly, we'd really like to hear from you. Do you think these recent developments represent a genuine political shift in Rivers State, or are they simply part of the normal ups and downs of politics? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below, because constructive discussions help everyone better understand these complex issues. As always, the goal is to stay informed, examine the facts carefully, and follow developments with an open mind. Rivers politics continues to evolve, and every new development adds another piece to a much larger story that is still unfolding.